to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. Today's book is book 12 in the Exceptional Sophia Beaufont series. So this book is called Unfairness Rectified. This is book 12 of 24. At the moment, with me and my dad, because it was my dad who originally found this series, we're in the process of trying to find the next 12 books. At the moment, we can only find them in German. So I'll read the blurb off my computer, which is here. Magitech can save the Dragon Elite, or it will be their very demise. Recovering the lost dragon eggs has pushed Sophia to new limits, but she's starting to figure out just how powerful she can be. The young dragon rider isn't the only one. All of the Dragon Elite have unmatched powers, and that's crucial since their enemies aren't backing down or fighting fair. Will the Dragon Elite save the lost eggs and mend the many rifts that time has created? So at first I was like, is it going to be really obvious that there's more books to come? Yes, it is very, very obvious that there's more books to come because there's so many unresolved things in book 12 that I do just need to finish it. I need to read the other 12 books. In this book you see Sophia join ranks with the woman who stole the dragon eggs. So she actually manages to get with the cyborgs and say, look, we're on the same side here. The magicians that are going missing are being turned into cyborgs. We can help each other. And so that's what they do. They get together and they sort everything out. I say sort everything out. This is also the book that Zac Efron comes in to help with a mission for Sophia and the owners of the bakery. Where to start? I will admit that side storyline with the Zac Efron mission was just hilarious. I was wondering, because I think as many things across the book, you wonder what the importance of Zac Efron is, and it's mentioned that he's an exceptional tap dancer, and I'll admit the incorporation of Zac Efron and some of his movies is absolutely hilarious. Hey boy, sorry, cat just woke up. He's off to go sleep downstairs probably after sleeping all morning. He's gotten up, have a bit of a stretch, have a bite to eat, go back to sleep again. Life of a cat, hey. But yeah, that incorporation of the Zac Efron, and when they're told that they have to get through his bodyguard, Rami? But yeah, so because Sophia's originally told that she has to get the bodyguard on side to let Zac do anything or go on the mission. And so rather than actually like genuinely trying to get him on side and going, oh well, you know, trying to become friends with him, Sophia just goes in just like with blunt, and she's got like the dragon outside the window acting all threatening, and then basically telling Rami that he's going to have to like feed the dragon. But she's basically doing what she can to distract the bodyguard so that she can get to Zac, who is in his own house having a bath, when Sophia comes in and says, do you want to go ride a dragon? And Zac goes, hell yeah. The idea of this being like a film or a TV series and them actually getting Zac Efron makes me want this to actually be a film or a TV series. Yeah, it's just so good and so funny. But yeah, at this point they've only had like a few eggs hatch. They've been aware that there seem to be quite a few bad eggs in there, because with the whole twin thing, with the idea there's a good twin and a bad twin. There's also the idea that with the dragons and the dragon eggs, there's good dragons and there's bad dragons. So like the bad dragons and the bad witches will magnetise to each other, like the good ones will magnetise to each other. But yeah, this is like the last of this section of the story, so it's just like we've taken down another baddie to move on to the next. But this is very much establishing a friendship between the elite and the cyborgs, while also delving into Hiker's history and the fact that Hiker does not want... he's in denial. Hiker is in denial about what happened before the Great War, his relationship with Ainsley, the housekeeper, and because a few books back, Sophia was given a coin, which when you flip it takes you back to the time before the war. It's the reset button, essentially. It's a reset point which Father Time created so that if he had to, he could go back to the reset point and change the future, which they are not doing, at least at this point. And to be fair, in this book, that coin does get destroyed. Spoiler alert! Yes, Sophia tells Heike that he needs to grow a pair, basically, and that he needs to face his past in order to look forward. But it's obvious he's been in complete denial. The things he's forgotten when he does actually ultimately go back and use the coin. He bears witness to things that he wasn't originally aware of. So because he's seeing the reset point from an outsider's point of view, he's watching himself and he's watching other people. So he observes a conversation that he himself had with Ainsley before the Great War, and ultimately hears Ainsley say something which he never heard during the original conversation. There was a wall separating them when Ainsley whispered something to Heike which was never heard. But obviously, in the reset point, when he's observing everything, he overhears Ainsley mentioning that she was pregnant at the time of the war. And I was just there going, oh no! At first I was just thinking, what happened to the baby? And then it was just like, oh yeah, she sacrificed herself for Heike. It's never confirmed in this book what happened to the baby. In a way, Ainsley died the day that she sacrificed herself for Heike. Yeah, it's a very, very sad part of the story, really. This is also the book where you see Sophia and Heike actually do a mission together. It was really fun to read about the mission that Sophia and Heike do together. Obviously, in 12 books, this is the first time they've done something just the two of them. Because basically, Sophia was told to drop a bean in New York City by Mother Nature. And it seems that, like, the ultimate part of the mission was to bring Sophia and Heike together, not in like a romantic way, just as like a team building exercise almost, set up by Mother Nature. But yeah, as fairy tales go, the bean gets planted, becomes a beanstalk, and there's a giant at the top of it. And Sophia and Heike are sent up the beanstalk to get some things. So Heike is on a mission to get a harp, which is on the giant Jack. Yes, the giant is called Jack. You've got Jack, the giant, and his mother, and it seems that Jack has a taste for people, but the mother doesn't. The mother wants to save people, ultimately. So when you've got this whole thing of them running around this giant's house trying to get what they need to get, because it's the coin, the reset coin, is taken by a bird up to the giant's house in the clouds, and so Sophia goes up to collect the coin, and then Heike has to get a harp which is supposed to help tame his powers, the powers that he's still not completely in control of since he inherited his dead evil twin brother's magic. That has to be the most fantasy statement I have just said in the entirety of these book reviews. That was such a bizarre sentence to say. But yeah, when they have a bit of a near-miss moment when Sophia has managed to get the coin back, but Heike is like hiding under the giant's bed trying to save himself from a hungry giant. There's a point when Jack the giant says, I think I can smell a person. I think I can smell a magician. Not feet by foe from I smell an Englishman. He thinks he can smell a magician. And the giant mother says, no, that fishy smell, which is supposed to be related to magicians, is actually just a fish stew which is on the stove downstairs for you. So she gets him out of the room and then just says to the room, my son has an appetite for people, so if there are any magicians in this room, you need to go now. So ultimately, Jack the giant's mother saves Heike and gives him a bit of a head start before Jack realises that his harp has gone missing. But yeah, I like the idea of twisting that kind of fairy tale on its head and saying, oh, actually, when it comes to Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack is the giant. I like the idea of twisting fairy tales. I find it quite clever. But yeah, but ultimately, the main theme of this book is the elite becoming friends with Trin and her cyborg pirate army and doing what they need to do to save the magicians from an evil man who just wants to turn all the magicians into cyborgs. And it's not completely wrapped up, this story. It didn't feel like it was completely over. It means there's a reason for me to carry on reading, because I'm just like, oh, but it hasn't all been tied up. Especially in regards to Hiker observing himself and Ainsley at the reset point and finding out things that he didn't know and understanding Ainsley's broken heart and what he needs to do in order to save Ainsley. Yeah, just good, funny. You see a lot of humour coming from Lunis, as you do all the way through the series. This book explicitly states that he wants to become a comedian or a YouTuber at some point, which I thought was hilarious. There's a lot of very, like, cheesy dad jokes, almost, coming from Lunis in this book. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the comedy in this book comes from the side mission with Zac Efron. The way they incorporate The Greatest Showman, it's hilarious. And when I read the author's notes at the end, the Zac Efron storyline and Zac Efron's bodyguard was greatly influenced by somebody that author Sarah Noffke knows and in real life, and Michael Anderle know in real life. It's just so ridiculously funny. And yes, it's cheesy. Yes, it is incredibly cheesy. But that's the fun of it. If you like very serious books, this probably won't be fit to you. You know, if somebody who wants something that's fantasy, that's got the empowerment, that's got the comedy, that's got that romance, and, you know, I know that when I first started this, I was like, oh, there's no hint of a romance. The romance came about more than halfway through this section, and I've only had half the books here. So the fact that, was it in like book 7 or something that we started to get a hint of a romance, and then it was a couple of books later when they actually did have that romance. The fact they have also established a romantic relationship between Hiker and Ainsley, it explains so much about the way those two characters talk to each other and communicate with each other throughout the book, or throughout the books. The whole Unfairness Rectified. They're trying to make things fair again. They are putting two teams that didn't seem to be on the same side, and actually they are on the same side, and they're working together because their end goal is the same. Yeah, Unfairness Rectified. There is that front cover for you beautiful people. So, yeah. Another book finished. Anyway, I have stuff to do. I've got a cup of tea to finish. I've got some biscuits to finish. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Hello to the wonderful new subscribers. It's so nice to have you here. If anybody's got any book recommendations, just pop them downstairs in the comments, drop them below, and if there is anything else you want to see, just let me know. I'm welcome to suggestions. Love you. See you later.